Welcome to the Blackout Show, presented by the Guillen Grid, a show about the Chicago White Sox baseball, the good, the bad, the ugly. We'll debate what's working and what's not on the south side of Chicago. It's old school versus new school baseball. And most importantly, we're keeping all the receipts.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Tonight, Jay and I are taking it to the Blackout. The two of us are here. OJ and Slavko, they're taking an off day today. Jay,
they're just like the White Sox.
everybody's having an off day today, besides me and Jay and I. Jay,
yeah,
the Cubs are officially pretenders.
Yes.
As the White Sox have took, the first matchup at home versus the lovable losers on the north side. Jay, I'll let you take it away.
First of all, one of my favorite things about being a White Sox fan, because we have the opportunity to deal the Cubs losses every year. This was round one, and we took 2 out of the 3 from, like Gonzo said, the lovable losers. I'm ecstatic. My heart is full. Like, they won game 1 Friday, right? They won game 1 Friday. Saturday, we came back and put the bats on them. Mooney shots all over the place. And I almost killed my cat right now, Gonzo. I swear to God on my life. Mooney shots on Saturday. Montgomery hit somebody's window. I don't know who was responsible. Sunday, just the absolute fucking movie. It was a movie Sunday. Couldn't happen better. Cuero needed to get the monkey off his back. He got the monkey off his bat. Like, seriously. What more can I ask for, Gonzo? The series gave me everything. Everything.
And that was such a tailspin of a news cycle, because before the series started, we got the news that Kyle Teel was beginning his rehab assignment, and then a couple of days into it, I think it was Saturday, the news came out that that Teal's, that he had, what was it? The LCL, I think it was, or
yeah, he hurt it. He tweaked his knee on a swing.
Yeah,
I guess his leg got caught up on him.
So then, we were all down, right? Because obviously we saw, Cuero's been through a slump, and Romo was off to a hot start. So we're like, all right, we can deal with missing out on Teel for 6 weeks with what we got. But then, like you said, Cuero walked it off on Sunday. So hopefully that gets our boy rolling. But not even just Cuero's surprising pop that, he showed in that walk-off, but to begin off that series, Chase Mydroth had that nice 3-run shot to begin the series. So I just think altogether, and we saw Davis Martin dominate again. He's just been off to a just scorching hot start, and he should be getting more.
Best starting pitcher in the American League right now.
He should get more love than what he's getting. Is there anything, before we get into the PCA stuff, is there anything underlining that you saw in that series that you want to highlight before we get into it?
Tristan Peters did an outstanding job last weekend. The defense, the timely hit, and I think he hit a bomb, if I'm not mistaken. Hit a bomb the weekend. I could be wrong. No, you know what? I think it was a double in the corner.
Oh, you said Tristan?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hit that, what was it, 2-run shot Sunday?
Sunday, yeah, Sunday. 2-run bomb, immaculate defense. That's
Mhm.
somebody that if you look at our projected lineups going down the stretch of the season, that's somebody that we don't see having a healthy contribution to the team going forward. And he did an absolute job against the scrub. So hats off to Tristan Peters, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is a guy. I mean, I'm surprised he made the 26th man from the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
he's held his own, through 2 months of the season. I'm not too sure how much time he probably has left with some of the guys coming up. I mean, obviously you have Hayes coming back through rehab. You have Pereira coming back soon through rehab. Or Jacob Gonzalez, I'm sure is going to get a call here soon, and I would imagine Braden Montgomery is probably a month out as well. So there's a lot of good roster decisions coming up here that Chris Getz. I should say it's a good problem that Chris Getz has coming upon him here shortly. But let's wrap up this Cubs series talking about what happened with, our favorite blonde out in the bullpen out there and heckling. I don't even want to say it was heckling because all she said to PCA is "you fucking suck," and that's all it took. I'm not sure, obviously, Jay, we're not. I didn't see anything else come before then. Like, was she heckling him that whole time? What truly did she say before that happened? Because obviously we only saw what happened after that statement of "you fucking suck," and then PCA says you what you say "fucking suck my dick" was what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
So
yeah.
um, clearly wasn't probably the best remark of the verbiage coming back at the genders there, but at the end of the day, like and to a further extent, Jay, I'm not sure if you saw the White Sox fan on right behind the on deck circle heckling him that he says something about like my mom's fucking here or something like that, even though that was disregarded that his mom wasn't there.
Yeah.
But he was already mentally not there, right? With the errors that occurred that game. Because I think that the 2-run shot he had was the day before. So just all together, PCA, that whole series was kind of irrelevant. And I know, the Brewers wanted to take a jab at him as well as saying that, oh, the White Sox broke him. But truth be told, he hasn't been himself since the last All-Star game. And then
But I would say before the All-Star game, he wasn't. I
go
mean, PCA
take
hasn't
it,
been.
take it away.
Yeah, no, PCA hasn't been himself. I'm not even gonna say himself because we don't have enough sample size to know who this guy is. He had a 30-30 season, and we could shit on that. That's Don't get me wrong, Gonzo. We both know in baseball, 30 home runs, 30 steals in a season. That's a huge accomplishment. But once you start deep diving into you know, the what was it, the a sub 260 batting average, sub 800 OPS. Like, how are you getting on base that much, slugging that much, and you can't give me an 800 OPS? So there was gaps in the production, even in a good year. Now you turn the page this year, Gonzo. A colostomy bag, literally a colostomy bag, and when he's not mentally engaged with the game, you see the drops and the misplays that happened this weekend, and it leaked over into this current week against the Crew. So I agree with you 1,000%. I don't think the White Sox broke him. He was already broken. He's been broken for a year. What, it's coming on a calendar now. Two halves equal a whole.
Yeah, I mean, you can say he had an elite first half of the season last year. I
Yes.
have no problem saying that because it wasn't even just him. Like he was competing against James Wood, going into that All-Star
Other
break.
hot hitters like James Wood, perfect example. James Wood had two halves of a season as well.
But the main difference is, again, James Wood started off this year hot again. So, he doesn't have that much of a gap that PACA does.
No, sir.
So not only do you have an elite, first half of the season, but that you can ride that, I want to say that aura, but you can ride that after that half, going after that into that second half with that type of a fan base that you have on the north side, that just take those, production and just ride on that with ignoring what he's doing in that second half of the season. And then especially when they start to see that Kyle Tucker started to fall apart in that second half of the season, they shifted, their demeanor onto Tucker than to hold the accountability to PCA. And then going into that off season, you have this fan base saying, "Oh, we can," they're just completely ignoring PCA's production in the second half, and they're shifting it towards, we can get a talent better than Tucker. And then they want to collapse onto the signing of Bregman, who's over 30, sign him to a 4-year deal. Then they give PCA an extension. And where's that guy in, that fan base? Sure, they're, you know, I would say the Brewers had a decent, not as bad of a start that they had a year ago. Like they
Yeah.
did better, but then they had some injuries again that brought them down the standings, while the rest of the NL Central started hot with the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Pirates. That's a competitive division, and you still have the former champs starting to heat up again as they're getting healthy again. Quite frankly, I mean, I'm gonna stop my hate because
No, keep
I
going.
am biased
Keep
because I
going, please.
absolutely hate the Cubs, but I do keep it realistic, right? I still see them as pretenders. They're not a contender. You have an organization, and we've talked about in Milwaukee as one of the top 3 in the game right now, and they just keep adding and adding, and they still got top prospects in the top 25 about to debut probably later this year, and Jesus Mate, and I don't think Luis Pena is too far away. But there's another 2 bats you can add to that lineup. I mean,
Don't
they're
forget, what about my boy Andrew Fisher?
yeah, Fisher as well. And because he's a college bat, you could probably see him debut later this year.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. And that's 2 to 3 bats you can add to their lineup. Um, just being they won the division last year. I still have them as the favorite in that division. That doesn't change my mind that they, you know, kind of fell back a little bit, but they're starting to heat up again. So, and I didn't even talk about the Reds at all, but I think that's going to be a race. I think it's going to be hard for the Cubs to keep up with those teams, especially when their pitching staff is continuing to get injured. I don't think Cabrera's mind is in the right place to be, a legit threat in that
He
division.
left yesterday's start early.
Hmm. So again, Cubs fans, I wish you the best, but
No, we don't.
yeah, I'd be lying if I wish you the best. But take care in that division. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just can't believe that people were actually, saying that this girl is victimizing herself.
And look at
She did not want to be one of those people blowing up in social media because she made her status protected. Like this is not what she wanted. She's just reacting as a fan at that game, and it blown up because of what PCA said. But okay, it is what it is. At the end of the day, he got fined. The league
look at
held him accountable. What
look at what
was
KG
KG
said.
say?
Look at KG.
PCA, if he doesn't play defense, he shouldn't be in the lineup. It took the league 75 games last year to figure out PCA. PCA needs to figure out the league. Otherwise, he'll be batting at 8th or 9th for the rest of his career. Now, just to add to this, right? This is just the baseball side. Another thing is like you got this guy hanging out with Caleb Williams, Matthias, some of your most prominent actual superstars in this city. PCA is not that guy, but he's blowing up his persona to be that guy. That takes your mind mentally away from the game. He needs to focus on the game itself, off the field. Like get after it, work after your flaws that are clearly visible, and work on your game. I just think this is like the mindset he has. I just feel it's terrible to give that money to that they did that extension. We'll see if he, how gets himself balanced again and figures it out. But I don't think that's realistic. But again, it is what it is, man. You know, they got to figure their shit out.
It's over
Meanwhile,
with.
our White Sox took a step, right? We finally got to 500, finally got a game over, and they're playing competitive baseball finally for the first time in 3+ years. Um, and
Yeah.
continue, they went on the road at a team that, we beat them at home right before the Cubs. In Seattle's a total different story, right? Uh, but they've got the pitching. We knew that going in, right? We had to bring that offense to them, and that was a series that Jay was completely a battle back and forth each series.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about that series later on, but for the fact that the White Sox, they did lose ultimately 2 to 3 games of that series, but that was a series that is a play or two away from sweeping them on the road.
Hmm.
But at least they took a game out of that, and we're still above 500 going into this weekend coming up. But I ultimately want to talk about one of the guys of the top 3 hitters, right? Which is right now you've got Mooney, Vargas, and Colson Montgomery. I want to have a conversation about Colson Montgomery because a week ago we talked about
I'm scared.
Miguel. A week ago we talked about Miguel Vargas, right? And you're on the behalf of, if I remember right, you want to keep him regardless, right?
Keep who?
Miguel Vargas.
Yes.
So that's the side that you fall on because I'm guessing you want to keep him no matter what because you want to be more short-term sighted. Am I assuming that right? Or
No, I
how do
just
you
like
see it?
what I just so the I like what Miguel Vargas brings to a lineup. Um, where we're at right now, most of our offensive ceiling comes from left-handed hitters.
Hmm.
That's like literally 90% of our offensive ceiling. Miguel Vargas being the only right-handed problem, and I use problem in a good way because he's a problem for pitchers to pitch to. I need that, Gonzo. I need that. It's a pain in the ass to pitch to Miguel Vargas, and he could slug a little bit.
Well, the thing is, so when you're on that, I don't disagree with needing a good right-handed bat in that lineup going forward.
Mm-hmm.
However, he hasn't really progressed to the extent that Colson has defensively, where you're like, all right, we got to put him in that lineup no matter what, right? Because not only has Colson's bat progressed, but his defense has as well.
Right.
Miguel on the other side of it, offensively, he's took a step forward to this point of 2 months in. Last year, he was slightly above average through the whole season. This year, this production rate that he's at right now, if he can do that through a full season, great, right? But you just said to me, what is PCA's average? Same thing can be said about Miguel Vargas. I don't know
No.
what I don't know
No.
where his Vargas is, where his average is yet, because we haven't seen it played through a full season yet.
The thing
So,
is,
but
so
before you answer this, Jay,
yeah.
all right, we've
Hmm.
seen Miguel take another step to begin the season, but I haven't seen that progression defensively yet to the same magnitude that Colson has gotten to. So when you're looking at the long-term outlook, right, with these high profiles coming up through the organization, how is Miguel Vargas going to stay on the diamond, to stay in that lineup? Maybe you can say first base if Murakami doesn't get extended, but I want you to answer that. How does he stay in this lineup if or without Mooney, if he gets an extension or not?
OPS over OAA. That's the best way I could put it. Because if you look at Miguel right now, we've seen he's plateaued on the glove side. We probably he makes a lot of good plays, but he's not gonna win you a ball game from taking a run away. You know what I'm saying? He has had instances where he helped this pitcher out a tremendous ton, but his OPS is the reason why he's staying in my lineup. And I'm not gonna say, he's a bad defender, because I don't think so. I just think he's an average defender, maybe a little bit below, but it's a smidge. If an average defender is like a 50 rating or a 60 rating, he's like a 42, 43. It's not a big enough gap for me to you know, get him out of the lineup. I
I
need that.
can
Yes.
I can agree to what you're saying here. However, I have a follow up to this.
Yes.
Does Vargas, and this is an important question because I've got actually your boy.
Important questions make me
I've
nervous.
got your boy Ken on Twitter right now going
Oh,
crazy for
he
his
tried to
boy
shit on you
Vargas.
this afternoon.
So let me ask you this. The follow up is this. Does
Mhm.
Vargas block you from anybody at third base?
No. No, I feel like first of all, by the end of this calendar, we're gonna see the climax of Miguel Vargas as a ball player. Like, this is probably gonna be his best campaign as a member of the White Sox. Not to say he could be better, but from the sample size that we're getting this year, this will be his report card. I don't think Miguel Vargas is stopping Caleb Bonner for
And I
being my third baseman from the future.
I hate to do this to you because I agree, but the the series of questions to get you to where I am is this: if he's not blocking anyone at third base, does that mean where's that put him? Is he a DH? Is he a utility
But
guy?
we still need to see somebody good enough to knock him off third base,
hmm
because
But
we have to see more. We
this
have
is
to
the
see
thing.
more.
If he's at his highest
I'm not
value,
saying he's at his highest. Don't do this.
all right. But if the trade deadline's coming up shortly,
I'm
you're gonna have desperate contenders
right.
needing bats and arms. If you get an offer on the table, Justin, are you
No, my
dealing
name is
them?
Jay. In this conversation, my name's Jay.
Jay,
Mm-hmm.
pressure's on your ass. You've got the Blue Jays at the table saying, we're still in this. I want Vargas. I'm dealing you this value.
What's this value? Tell me. You have to tell me this value.
Mm,
Is there a pitcher by the last name King coming over in the trade?
sure. You want King's values there. Do you want it or no?
I don't want to answer this question. As a Miguel Vargas supporter, I'm not Nick. Do you know how much Ken War I got? I'm a Ken Warite. I'm not gonna answer this question. No.
Okay.
Next, matter of fact,
So
next question. Next question.
next question is this, right? I've got you right now answering the bell on Miguel Vargas. But now we are shifting to the next profile in question, which is our boy. And I say our boy because I think me and you were excited when he was drafted, but Colson Montgomery. There's
Mhm.
people out there that said he would never be an MLB player. It is what it is, right? Obviously, we know he's in the league, he's doing well. Let's take a look at his profile, Justin. You say he's in a slump. He very well may be. But this is what he has done to this point. Obviously, we've got the fielding. As you see, his probably the top thing right now to talk about is that OAA at shortstop being at an 8. We've seen the graphics. He's the second best player right now in the AL, right behind Bobby Witt, which is incredible, right? And that bat, you know, say what it is. We saw the pop there. It's still there. I think he's got what 11 home runs, is it? Total that right now, around there.
Mhm.
But the average has dipped, right? How do you view Colson right now?
I view him as shortstop version of O'Neal Cruz. Of course, he's not going to steal as many bags as O'Neal, but O'Neal's not going to slug as good as Colson. Uh, Colson is a better defender. Right now, I'm very pleased with where Colson is as a larger slugging left-handed shortstop. I'm okay with the K. For right now, I'm okay with the K because he still has an OPS above 800 and he's going to slug. The reason that I need to go forward with Colson Montgomery is because it's hard for the White Sox to develop pure slug, right? The last decent shortstop we had was Tim Anderson, and Tim Anderson was a butcher with the glove. Colson is not a butcher, and I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think Billy Carlson will be good enough to move Colson off a shortstop, because Colson's really fucking good defensively, and I know he's offensively going to be better. I could write that story right now.
That all depends on if that bat pans out. Because if the bat pans out, he's defensively better.
Not by enough. If his bat
He's
pans
the
out,
best. He's the best glove in the organization.
yeah, but
He's playing shortstop. If
give
he,
me the
if
top three defenders in the White Sox organization right now, in your opinion.
you're saying if we draft, no matter who we draft at 1, are they included?
If we draft Rock, he's not in that conversation.
Oh, he's in that conversation.
You think Rock could be a better defender than Colson?
Colson?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes.
Matter of fact, I haven't asked you to do this in almost a month. I need you to tweet that out.
All right, tweet that out. I'm pretty sure I've tweeted that out several times today.
Remind me, because I don't see it. I don't see Rock Chalowski being a better defender.
Carlson, Rock Chalowski, and Bonnemer. I'd put all 3 of them over Colson at shortstop.
Defensively,
for sure. I mean, you can have a debate with me if you want on Caleb Bonnemer.
I don't want to argue.
I'm fine with having a conversation about who's better between Bonnemer and Colson, right? But I know for sure Carlson and Rock are better than Colson than Colson was at their respective ages. So when Colson Montgomery was coming out of the draft, right? Carlson's glove, if you were to compare those draft classes, Carlson's glove was better than Colson at the time.
It's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago, but it's not a long time ago saying that for Carlson, because that was just a year ago. Same thing with Rock. If you were to compare Rock right now, I'm still taking Rock over Colson. Because even when Colson was drafted, he wasn't highly touted defensively.
He had to work himself to get.
He led the he led the minors in errors going through the system.
But errors at shortstop get snagged with errors because they get to more balls than anybody else.
Okay, you still have the most errors out of all the shortstops in minor league baseball.
Yeah, and how many of those shortstops are better defenders than Colson today?
It's a fair question. Because there's a lot of shortstops.
It was my ace in a hole, by the way. Okay. So I got nothing left after that. So no follow-up questions, nothing. I'm done.
But that's a fair question, and that's why I'm going to ask you, because I asked this question to you with Miguel Vargas, and now, this is another thing to say here.
I agree.
Colson Montgomery. I'm not arguing that he's not an above-average defender. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have elite defenders that are going through this organization, and at the end of the day, the best glove is going to play shortstop. So my question that as I'm getting to is this, Jay. I asked you this about Vargas: is Colson Montgomery going to block anybody at shortstop?
No, but not for the reason that you don't think. Not for the reason you do think. So Colson isn't stopping anybody, Rock or Billy Carlson, from playing shortstop, or even Bonnemer for that instance. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Colson could play anywhere on the diamond. Anywhere on the diamond. So if your prophecy, let's just say we move Vargas, Colson as your third baseman. That's not a bad problem to have. So no, to answer your question, it's a flat out no for me. He's not blocking anybody. Him or Miguel isn't blocking anybody.
And that's where I actually agree with you. And now we can take this in Gonzo's long-term play, right?
No, I don't
Next
like
year,
Gonzo's long term play.
Rock Chalowski. I know you want to see Justin LeBron go 1-1, but Rock Chalowski gets drafted this July, right? He makes
Yeah.
his debut next year. You've got Rock at shortstop, Colson at third base, right?
Who's my second baseman?
In this situation, probably Antonacci.
Who's my left fielder?
That's the question. Who are you gonna have playing left field? I'm guessing you'll probably do another one of these Chris Getz. We're gonna assign a guy to flip kind of ordeal because he wants
I
to
don't
do
like
asset
those
management.
those type of those type of outfielders have fucking those fucking outfielders have bad hamstring, bad knees.
Yeah, but to this point, like Braden, but he's already debuted. So he'll be playing center. So you've got left field and right field that is in question after this offseason. So again, Jay, you're going to have Antonacci likely at second base. And I'm guessing Caleb Bonnemer is going to come up next season for his debut. And this is where things get really tricky because if you've been paying attention to the organization right now, they have been starting these guys off in their young careers, develop them at their premier positions. Um, let's just take Braden Montgomery for example. When they traded for Braden, he started off in right field, getting all the reps in right field. However, that shifted towards right after it was about this time last year. They shifted him to center field, and he went the remaining part of that season in center field. So they're starting to really orchestrate what they want to do with this next core that is coming through the system. And they're doing that again with Caleb Bonnemer. Again, they drafted Caleb Bonnemer 2 years ago out of high school. And his first season that he debuted in low A to A ball, they had him playing shortstop, premier position. They wanted to test him to see what does this kid have with the glove. His glove wasn't highly touted going into that draft. However, he surprised a lot of people in that debut season and they kept him there. However, with how things have gone with drafting Carlson, with another draft coming up with Rock Chalowski, they have shifted that. So Bonnemer, like I said, in that first season that he debuted, he was at shortstop.
Right.
However, ever since, if you've been paying attention to, which I have been, of our minor league system, the main position for Caleb Bonnemer that they've developed him at since this time last year, and if you were paying attention, Jay, I was talking about this. This time last year, Braden shifted from right field to center field. This time last year, they shifted Caleb Bonnemer from shortstop to third base. So they're starting to picture this long term. And if you remember this, when that draft class, when he was drafted in the second round, they thought originally that Caleb Bonnemer was a corner piece on the diamond, first or third. He surprised a lot of people in their debut season with the glove at shortstop, so they kept him there that season. But ever since last year, they moved him from short to third base. So when Caleb debuts next season, you've got already, you told me, Rock's at short, Colson's at third
No,
base. So,
hey.
so you're going to have to make a decision when Bonnemer comes here. Where are you going to put who where? You said, who are you? You told me, who are you putting in left field? I said, well, you'll probably have to sign a flip guy. However, this is my thing. You're signing a flip guy for the short term, right? Because after they flip that piece, who you going to put where? I think Bonner plays at third base
Let me ask you a question.
and Colson goes to left field.
So, as a
But,
prospect,
however, you can talk me into this, right? For that first half of the season, I can totally see until that piece in left field gets flipped. I can totally see Colson at third, Bonner at second, Rock at short, right? But again, all it takes is that next infielder to come up, and then you have to make that decision. What are we going to do with this infield? Because you're going to have to keep moving pieces. I
I
told
just
you,
got
and
one
I told
question.
you Antonacci at second, and then
One
you can
question.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's just say Caleb Bonner
Mhm.
gets promoted to Double A, Triple A, and teams keep calling. Is Caleb Bonner untradeable to Gonzo as a prospect?
Mm. Again, you've talked or you saw my episode on the Au Jus.
Yeah.
I told Beef, or I think Beef asked me the question, who are those franchise type players, right? And I said, we got one. Or not yet, but we're gonna be drafting one. But I said this too. I'm like, I'm also iffy because I'm like 1.5, right? I was really surprised about Caleb Bonner. So if the value that is in this offer that you're hypothetically giving me, it needs to match that type of value of
Hello?
that type of guy. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, you got a follow-up question? Okay, got it. Follow-up question.
Mhm.
DeVry, Jesus Made, Pena. I'm talking about teams are willing, although this is kind of far-fetched, but I'm talking about the value is there, right? Like, what if the Padres call you and be like, hey, Ethan Salas and Cruz Schoolcraft is on the table for Bonner and probably Dominguez or some shit. You know how they do those deadline, I need a fucking arm real quick.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Even with the surplus of infielders that we have.
Not for those two names, no. And
But
quite
what name?
frankly, anything in the Diamonds or sorry, the Padres organization that you threw out there, I would say no to. I don't think that they have anything of value to Bonner's value.
Who has something of value that'll make
Mhm.
you entertain a Caleb Bonner trade?
That's very few, I would think, right? The Brewers, sure.
What about
Dodgers, sure.
Athletics?
And you said, DeVries? I'm probably saying no to DeVries. I'm being honest
Why?
with you. Because I have them like right there with each other. I'm pretty high on Caleb to that magnitude of DeVries.
So you would say no to Leo and Jamie Arnold being in the deal?
Oh, you're adding both of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're not
I
trading
thought
Caleb Bonner
well,
mano y mano with any prospect.
you
It's
only
gonna
threw
be
me
a fucking
DeVries.
it's gonna be a Chris Gonzalez package. It's gonna be a package.
Oh man. Yeah. Let's see. DeVries and Arnold. Yeah. We need
You do
pitching.
that?
So yeah. Yeah, I would do that.
Okay. So I just want to get it out of my fucking head because the way you're talking today, Caleb Bonner
Yeah.
is untouchable and he's the heir apparent on the South Side. That's the way you're talking.
I'm not saying he's untouchable, but yeah. I mean, you gotta take off. Doesn't matter who it is. You gotta take offers, see where that value is. Right?
This would be a good question to ask Eli next week.
That would be a good question for Eli.
Matter of fact, let me write this down real quick.
Yeah. And again, I would say that to whoever, Chalowski, Mooney, listen to the value offers.
I'm not trading
See what's there.
Munitaka. I'm not trading Munitaka.
So, but again, I know we talked about Mooney. You have to hear the conversation should be had. We had that discussion. Like we should know Is Ishbia willing to spend money on Murakami, et cetera, et cetera? Because that makes these conversations so much easier to be had. We know what we have to work with at that point. But again, so you're saying no one blocks Colson. I think that was a really great hypothetical conversation we threw out there with the long term. Let's shift to what's up next. And we've got a really short conversation of a guy, another Gonzo, Jay. Guy that was a
It's got to
first.
be Noah Schultz. I spoiled it for the viewers. It's got to be Noah Schultz, bro.
We've had a conversation with a lot of different prospects, but one, and that is Jacob Gonzalez, right
I was
out
wrong.
of Oregon
I was wrong.
State. He's been for the first time in this organization blowing it up down there at Charlotte. You can say what you want about the splits because they are kind of vastly different if you look at home and away at Charlotte and out of Charlotte. It is a hitter's park, so unfortunately, it is what it is. But Jay, where are you going to play this kid? And mind you, I'm going to give you this little nugget that I did a little research on.
Mm-hmm.
Take a guess where Jacob Gonzalez has been developed as of lately.
Yeah. I don't want low hanging fruit saying the outfield, but left field, center, right, where?
Shortstop. So I ask you, Jay, where in this loaded infield right now, where does, because I'm assuming you're going to tell me, as I wouldn't expect you to say otherwise. Does Colson block you from playing shortstop if you're Jacob Gonzalez?
I don't see Jacob Gonzalez having a future for the Chicago White Sox at the major league level.
But you still have to have that assessment, right? Or are you going to flat out trade him before you get that assessment?
Now, would you think it'd be best practice to trade him at his highest value?
You know, I'm going to say this isn't his highest value.
So
He
he could be
hasn't.
better. He could be better than what he's been performing as the last month and a half. He's been great.
Well, yeah, but he's been doing this. And again, if you look at the splits, you see the vast difference of Charlotte and away from Charlotte. So, yeah, I would call him up and be like, hey, let's prove it, major league level. And then we can have a conversation at the deadline of, are we keeping him or moving him? Which I'm totally with you.
If Colson Montgomery isn't playing shortstop because Jacob Gonzalez is on the major league roster, I would be sick to my stomach.
But where do you see Jacob at when he gets called up?
Second base, strong side platoon with my draw, because at the end of the day, that's the only real hole that we have. And I'm not gonna say it's a hole because my draw is an adequate infielder, right? He's adequate.
Yeah.
I don't see him being better as an outfielder than any of the guys we got on the roster. That's Tristan Peters, Derek Hill included. We got Austin Hayes coming back. Brayton Montgomery is going to get his phone rang sooner than later. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Not zone.
I think I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, you can play in tune. I think that's actually the best bet. You take a little pressure. He's not playing, you're not going to, each week, he's not getting those 20, 30 at bats as a starter, right? You can play and tune him with Mydroth at second base. Mydroth at second base. Yeah. I think that'd be perfect for him. Get a little taste of that 2-week sample size and go from there. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't see, if you were to see him in outfield, or would you throw him in center?
Maybe.
I was gonna say, because you want to say no, but then you see Acuna out there playing center field, and you're like, wait a second.
That's the thing. It's like my choices are, with Jacob included, Jacob Gonzalez, Randall Grichuk, and Luis Angel, featuring Tristan Peters apparently. But at that stage in the game, Tristan Peters might not be on the roster. when we get to that Jacob Gonzalez fork in the road. So I mean, it wouldn't really matter because you're playing Russian roulette in the outfield anyway. It's fucking right-handed bats that I'm trying to flip, Grichuk and maybe even Austin Hayes, to be honest with you. Because he could play a little bit of center too. I don't know if the hammy will hold up, but you're playing Russian roulette with mercenaries in center field anyway. There's nobody you're invested in. Center field and second base could be his path to the majors in the lineup.
And this is what I'm going to have to say to you, bro. Who's making that decision?
Barfield's going to have to sell it to the organization. Barfield is going to have to sell it to the organization. He's done a great job molding these guys into baseball players, not isolated position players that they hope they'll pan out. They're turning them into baseball players.
I'm surprised you didn't say Will.
Nah, I feel like
No.
Will has been present. You know what? Do we have a segment tonight where we're gonna talk about Will's way or anything like that?
The most important thing is to just set really clear expectations for our group and how we're going to go about our day and the things that we're going to do to build a foundation to be the kind of team we want to be. But it's also about cultivating a winning culture and being passionate about coming to work every day and creating a positive environment where people know that we're going to face some tough times like everyone does across the league, but at the end of the day, we're going to do all the things that we need to do to go out there and compete and play hard, holding each other accountable to things that you've set expectations for. But get ready, because we're going to go out there and play good baseball. It's going to be exciting. We hope to see you out in the field.
I'm not gonna lie, Jay. It gets better and better hearing Will's commentary as we go through the season. With some winning baseball lately. But this is Will's way. As you know it, guys, we got some criticism, positive, negative, that we're gonna diverse here when it comes to the manager. But honestly, Jay, the two things I have for Will's way are actually split. You want to start with the negative or positive first?
Well, I was gonna spend these last couple minutes glazing him. So if you go with the negative, you go ahead with that. But I'm literally gonna glaze my manager.
Okay, let's start with the negative. Jay.
Don't like that, man.
Jay, the negative is this, man.
All right.
This was was this Casey? No. Sorry, this is almost 2 weeks ago now.
Oh, wow, you're holding grudges?
Sorry, it was, because we missed a week, so I'm not gonna name names, but the negative comes to this. It was at home versus KC. Our young buck lefty out there on the mound, Noah Schultz, is dealing. He went through the first time of the lineup, no struggle. We get to the second time in the lineup, and he's struggling with command, right? I think they took him out maybe at like 85 pitches in that last inning of the fifth. I think he had 1 or 2 outs. And I texted you, Jay. Actually, let me go back and look at the texts because I know we've been texting a lot. So, what did I text you? I totally forgot that I texted you all about the obstruction stuff, which we'll get to. But essentially, I told you I felt like it was too soon that they pulled him in that start. They didn't allow him to finish that fifth inning and at least give him the chance to get a win, right? And what happened? They pull him. Someone else, I forgot who came in from the bullpen. They finish the frame. They get the outs. Our guys come up to bat, and they take the lead at the bottom of the inning, right? Do you feel like they've had Noah on a really short leash lately? What was your thoughts on that situation?
Well, to all the people viewing at home, At 8:06, Gonzo texts me, I wish Will would have let him work through his stuff in this start. Then the offense delivered in the bottom of the fifth. Fuck! Allow the kid to battle and leave with a chance with the dub. That's what Gonzo texted me. You want to know what my reply was?
What day was that again?
That was Wednesday.
Was it the 13th?
Yeah. And all I had to do, all I had no answers for you, Gonzo. I just texted back same.
Yeah, I caught up to it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I texted back same because let's just go back to his line when he exited because he was battling Gonzo. He was fucking battling, bro. And it was like I felt like he pitched good enough to qualify. Let's see what we got here. Give me 1 second. 4 1/3, 5 walks. That's what did him in. That's why he got taken out. 5 walks, 3 Ks, 3 earned through 4 1/3. That's why he got taken out. And we talked about it on the back end. He exhausted his fucking pitch count. Literally exhausted his pitch count. 76 pitches of high leverage because he pitched through high leverage in those situations. When you have that many base runners on that early in the game, that turns the situation into high leverage. So I feel like Will was protecting him from the bloop and the blast. If you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you need is him to walk a couple and it turns into a 4 to 5 run inning. Then the game is out of reach. But to Schultz's point, he did a good job pitching around the 5 walks. He gave up a few runs, but at the end of the day, Gonzo, it could have been much worse.
I also think he was at the bottom, if I remember right. He was at the bottom of that lineup in that frame when he got taken out of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't have very good command of the strike zone. So it didn't matter who he was throwing to. He was yielding a lot of base runners regardless.
I just think, again, the main message right now is continuing development, right? This is the perfect time for me to challenge my guys and allow them to pitch through this. And I rather than pitch through it now, and give them that rope than next year or the year after that when we're actually contending, when we're actually in the mix, regardless. I want this to be hampered out now than to just baby him along.
Right.
Yeah, that was my negative on Will. And I don't think it was just that start. I kind of felt, I don't think it was even just Noah. I mean, there's a couple of guys that I just feel like they've been babying to this point. Now, don't get me wrong. I can understand it as well because, again, you have a huge question of these arms in this season of how many innings are these guys going to truly get, because there's a lot of innings to go with the actual quality arms that we have right now, especially when you've seen some guys go down to injuries like McDougal, etc. Some guys have been taken out of what we're going to see this year. So if we're going to baby them because we're worried about innings to go, I can have an understanding of that. But let's get out of the negativity. That's all I got for the negative. Let's talk about the positive, Jay. Our manager was pissed off. And Gonzo was pissed off.
Third person.
I have wasted a lot of breath into Twitter this weekend because and no shots at the casual fans, but the casual fans don't understand when I'm pissed off on a rule because they take it for what the verbiage is of the rule and they think I'm only talking about the actual act of it.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. Mind you, I've umpired since I was, sophomore in high school up until before I started my career. And that was about a 10-year span. And I started from the T-ball guys and got all the way up to Division II college baseball umpiring. So 10 years, some competitive, I would say probably three of those 10 years at the end were competitive at the competitive highest levels of high school and Division II college ball. So I've umpired at a high capacity, at a high level. And I know this is just this call, which we're going to get into, is an obstruction call. It's a basic rule of the game. And I've seen it at high levels. So if I'm pissed off about something, I'm not just pissed off as a fan. When I see these easy calls at the highest level in the MLB misguided, I get pissed because I think it's a bad look.
Right.
Especially when I see, and this hinders me too, the ABS system. I don't like it because I love the game at the human component level. I like there to be questions on calls as far as strike zone goes, because that means the game is fair. Not the pitcher, the hitter is going to have leverage on each other. That zone is that of the umpires, and every umpire is going to be different. If they give black to black or a ball off the plate, a ball low, a ball high, et cetera, et cetera. But getting back to the obstruction, because I'm going on a rant here. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, I can tell.
Bear with me. In this game, you had a backup catcher, Johnny Pareda, on first base. I forgot who the hitter was. A ball is hit down the line, the third base line. Pareda's taking his banana cut around second. I wish we actually had the clip of this, but I'm not sure if we would get dinged on it if we showed it to you. But he takes his banana cut off. Listen, Jay, he hit the bag good on the inside corner. He's taking his wide angle on his banana cut. And I personally think before contact is made, he took a little bit extra. I want to say he took an extra step with his momentum drifting to initiate that contact, right? He pushes, which, Jay, I don't know why Antonacci is right where he is on the shortstop side of that bag to begin with. But regardless, Pareda, and I tweeted this, Jay, I said, good for Pareda, because he's in the base path there. The base path is 3 feet on each side of the base path.
Right.
It's 6 feet total, right? He's probably on the edge of that, if you're looking at it. But my point is, before contact is made, he makes a little bit extra effort on going wide out on it. It slows him down just a tad of his track. But I say good for him initiating contact, because he's able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I say good for him because that makes this crew have to make a judgment, not only decision obstruction, right? But a part of my disagreement comes on the second half of this, the nullification of it, which is essentially how that obstruction impacts the game, their decision on how, like, what bases they're going to award, etc. That's the nullification. That is still a part of the rule of obstruction, not only the act, but how it's going to be awarded. The second half of that is what pisses me off. Because as an umpire, as soon as you have obstruction, there's two types of obstruction. One is an active play of obstruction. For example, Pareda, let's just take Pareda in this example. Let's just say he steals second base, throws to the bag. Jay, as a fielder, you're receiving a throw on the bag. You have to give the runner a position of the bag to slide into. You have to give a part of the bag to slide into. You can block part of the bag, but you still have to give a part of that bag for the runner to slide into.
Right.
Usually the fielder will block the front of the bag and give the runner the back end of it legally. That's fine, right? But if you block the whole bag, you don't give anything to the runner, that's an active play. That's obstruction. That's illegal. You can't do that. That's the first type of obstruction, an active play. The second part is non-active. There's no play on the bag. You are a fielder or a runner. You can have interference on both sides. But in this situation, it's a non-active play on the fielder. He is in the base path. The runner makes contact. That is obstruction, non-active. If you have an active play at the bag on that obstruction that I gave you the hypothetical of,
Yeah.
it's a dead ball right then and there. That runner is awarded the bag he's attempting to get to, which in that situation was second base. In this situation, this is the second type of obstruction, a non-active play. And when that happens, the umpire gives a signal. For me, I would just raise my hand, show that I have a delay call, because I have to see on a non-active play the totality of the circumstances. Meaning, on a non-active play, that runner is given the bag that he's attempting to get to, which in this situation, when that contact is made, the last bag he touched was second base legally. So the bag that he's attempting to get to is third base.
Yes.
So he is going to get, regardless, he's getting third base, right? However, if that runner gets to third base safely, I don't have to award it to him, right? In this situation, Pareda got to third base safely. When you get to that bag safely, if you go beyond that, you advance at your own risk. We can get to this later on because that's important. In this situation, that coach, as soon as contact's made, that coach slides over and he's waving him to round it and go. Pareda rounds the bag, goes, and he ends up getting thrown out by, I would say, I'm not sure if you saw the still shot of it, Jay. I think it's at least 30 feet. He is thrown out by a good margin. And I was in the chat with you when we were watching this live. And I'm like, yeah, right, inning over, let's fucking go. And then we see a pause, we see the MLB, the whole umpire crew get together and they're talking. And I'm like, what are they talking about? And then they show the replay of of what I just described to you with him rounding, making that contact. And I'm like, all right, but it doesn't matter. He advanced at his own risk. He got thrown out by a margin. They awarded him home plate based off of that obstruction. So they believed that regardless of that contact, which, mind you, he made that contact probably within, I would say, probably that same margin, 30 feet after the bag of second base. They said regardless of that contact, Pareda, a backup catcher that is 30 years old, speed metrics, he's below average. They're saying regardless of that contact, he is scoring on that play. How, and this is what pissed me off, how the hell are you going to award that to this runner? At the time that happened, it was a 1-1 game. They gave them the lead on that obstruction call and kept the inning going after that. Jay, that's what I know. I blew up the group chat. I blew up Twitter. I was pissed off. But another part about this is, I said I'd get back to it, but that coach ended up after that contact waving him because he knew that he can force the decision upon this crew to do so. Because I really believe that if that contact was not initiated, Jay, I don't think that coach
would have waved him in.
I think he starts doing this. Hold.
Yes, and that's
he is
my
not going to
issue.
wave him in.
That's why I disagreed with the obstruction call, because the contact with Antonacci didn't get him thrown out at the plate. Him being waved in after the contact got him thrown out at the plate. So they should have just awarded him third base, kept the run off the board, because they came together as a crew. They should have came to a fucking conclusion, a common sense conclusion.
But that's the thing is you don't award him. So if he continues after the bag, that's at his own risk. So it's delayed because you have to see what the totality of the circumstances is. So if he's thrown out at the plate, there's no obstruction because obstruction was awarded to the bag he was going to. So
Right.
if he advances at his own risk, right, the obstruction's waived off because he advanced at his own risk. The risk is getting thrown out on that play. So you're either awarding him home, calling him safe, giving him that run, or there's no obstruction because he advanced at his own risk and the crew doesn't believe he scores. So he's out.
Yeah. Dead to rights. Cooked.
Dead to right. Cooked. That's what pissed me off because that bag should never been awarded to him, to that runner. Now, if it's Julio Rodriguez, okay, I think he probably scores with that speed, with how efficiently he is as a runner running the base path. I would say I would give him benefit of the doubt. I think it would be a close play at the plate with that speed, but I would benefit the runner in that situation. Not a backup catcher, 30 years old, that's a below average runner. No way. I rest my case.
So to put a nice bow on that Christmas present right there, I agree with you, Gonzo. I was upset. But that's the negative part. The positive is we did see Will Venable stand up for his players. We did see Will Venable call out bullshit and got ejected for the first time. Because I'm sitting there watching on TV. I'm like, okay, you just got to get ejected, Will. That's the last thing. Just get fucking ejected. Because there's nothing you could tell these fucking losers to get them to persuade and actually do their due diligence, right? Because you said the runner advanced at his own risk. That's a judgment call from that point on. And they refused to go that route. So kudos to Will. I was just going to give him credit for managing, for immaculate managing for the last week or so. And granted, our viewers and our producers want me to shit on him for bringing Jordan Hicks into a game. You play with the cards that you are dealt. Jordan Hicks is on this roster for leverage, and we can't help the fact that his whip is probably going to be a 3 by the time we get to July. We can't help that. But I can help the fact that he put a lineup together of 4 straight lefties yesterday and pinch hit for all of them in the ninth with moderate to significant success. So kudos to Will, because you've been pressing a lot of good buttons lately, and hopefully that continues into the summer.
Yeah, and I think you did a great job wrapping up Will's Way for us. And now we're gonna get the show on the back half here with talking about the schedule and picks to click. So Jay, we were talking about it before we went live. Obviously, we're gonna go live next week. Haven't decided Thursday, Friday yet, but it's looking like we have a weekend series on the road in San Francisco, and then Monday through Wednesday they come back home and play the Minnesota Twins. Let's start off with the Giants. Tomorrow's matchup is Davis Martin versus Tanner McDonald. Sorry, there's a Trevor McDonald.
Trevor.
Sorry. I said Tanner McDougal earlier, and I got McDonald on my mind, so I'm all sorts of confused right now. And I shouldn't be, because I told you I've got Trevor going tomorrow for me in Dynasty.
I got one for me
so
too.
My apologies to McDonald. Don't take that against me, McDonald. I need you on the mound, still on your game, going up against our boys. Saturday's matchup, which, by the way, McDonald versus Martin, that's going to be that's a pitcher's, that's a rubber match to begin the series tomorrow. We'll get to that in a second, but game 2, Eric Fetty versus Hauser. Hauser's been decent as of lately. He reminds me of K's start, where he was just started the season off like ass, and then over the last 2 weeks, he's put together some good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Former White Sox. Game 3 is going to be Sunday, and it is looking like my boy Noah Schultz going up against Robbie Ray. Jay, I think the White Sox take 2 of 3. I think the bullpen gives it up tomorrow late, but I think we take games 2 and 3. I think you're going to say sweep. Jay, convince me otherwise.
We're gonna beat the shit out of the San Francisco Giants. It's hard for them to manufacture runs, Gonzo.
Mm-hmm.
Against the White Sox, you're gonna the Giants are gonna face some decent pitching, so you're not gonna be able to outslug the White Sox. That's the key. Can the Giants outslug the White Sox? No. Follow-up question: do the Giants have anybody in that bullpen better than Grant Taylor? No. So when you get down into high leverage and you got to piece some shit together, I like the White Sox chances over the Giants. They do have Rafael Devers. They do have Casey Schmidt, who's been absolutely outstanding the last month or so. Ever since Matt Chapman told him to catch the fucking ball, he's been fucking beating the shit out of baseballs with his bat. So I don't know if the message got misconstrued with Casey. He dropped the glove and pick up the bat, but he's been good. You know, Luis Arias, another 300 campaign, Gonzo. Another 300 campaign from Luis Arias. And Jay Targaryen, is still saying it's not enough. It's not enough. And the icing on the cake, right? Because we got Noah Schultz in his infancy of his career going up against a seasoned vet, a really good vet who's having a good year, Robbie Ray. He's going to outpitch Robbie Ray on Sunday.
I'm with you, bro.
Like, I think this will probably be one of the easier series the White Sox have had up until this point. We're a competitive ball club. We're a game above 500. I've drank all the Kool-Aid. I have a bladder infection because I've drank all the Kool-Aid. I say the White Sox hit them with a book sweep, 3-0 on the West Coast.
Holy shit. I'll take it. I'll take that, because then we'll be like, what, 4 games above 500 at that point?
What are you going to do when Colson Montgomery heats back up? Like, Colson has been what? 0 for 11 with 7 Ks and 2 walks the last, 3 to 4 games.
He's got a short porch out there to pull a ball in the bay.
I mean, he hits lefties pretty well. He might greet Robbie Ray Sunday with some bad news. Like, I mean, I don't think people understand. We might have trouble with Trevor McDonald tomorrow. We might have trouble because he gets a lot of easy outs and he knows how to pitch from the stretch. I love his genetic makeup from the stretch.
Yeah. Jay, I've got 2 of 3. You've got 3 for 3. We're coming home to play Mini, the Twinkies. Game 1, Zebby Matthews versus K.
Dub.
Ooh. That's tough. Give me a second. I'm going to keep going. Game 2 on Tuesday is Joe Ryan versus Sean Burke.
Oh, we're fucked.
Sorry, it's a 4-game series next week versus the Twins.
Okay, so that's 1-1.
Monday through Thursday. Wednesday, we might as well go through the full 4 because
give me a 4 for 4, please.
We're doing the show after regardless. Game 3 is Prelup versus Davis Martin.
That is the wild card because
that's the wild card game.
Prelup has some really good makeup for a young left-handed pitcher. Really good
shit. Game 4 is Fetty, and it's undecided right now for Minnesota.
Probably Sean Richardson, maybe?
Yeah. I think...
Or Bailey Ober?
Probably Ober. So, Ober versus Fetty. I think
So
I
that's a
think,
wash.
yeah, that series is a wash. 2 for 2.
Yeah, that's a wash because we might fuck around and get blanked by Prelup. You remember how Jason Vargas and uh what was the other lefty, Bruce Chin?
Hmm.
Remember how they used to do, and Tommy Malone? Like that's what Prelup
Mm,
looks like right now. And it's a shame because Cleveland got Messick, another lefty that's probably just gonna destroy the league. So I mean,
yeah,
Joe Ryan and Prelup, that's good enough to split a 4-game set. No matter how good the Twinkies are hitting, we get, or how bad, I should say, how bad they're hitting. Those two guys right there are absolute studs on the rubber. The White Sox got both hands full.
yeah. Yep, I'm with you. But overall, that's a winning week for us. For me, that would be what, 3 of 3 and 2? Or no. There's a 4-game series. Sorry. So I got
That's
2 and 3,
2 and 2 against Minnesota, and then 2 out of 3
two out of
from
four.
two. No. 2 out of 4 against Minnesota, sure, but that's 2 out of 3. That's
Hmm.
a four. That's a 4-and-3 trip.
Yep.
Five and what would that be? 5-2 if we sweep. If we sweep San Francisco 3-0 and split with Minnesota, yeah, that's 5-2.
Yeah. I got 4 and 3, and you got 5 and 2.
Yeah,
It's a winning week, brother.
I'm ready.
That does it for the schedule. Any hitters on either side of the away that you want to highlight before we move on to picks to click?
We touched on Casey Schmidt. They still got Rafael Devers, Luis Arias. Matt Chapman needs to retire. But as far as the Twinkies, they just sent my boy Royce Lewis down. They do got Austin Martin, who is always a pest. He's been really good this year. I think Buxton is hurt. Matt Wallner got sent down. Trevor Larnach came back to earth. Luke Keyshaw has I don't even think he has a 7 OPS right now.
His WAR is like a .7, so it's getting there.
Yeah,
But
but that's
he's
because
got to heat up.
that's defense and base running right there. Offensively, I'm not afraid of Luke Keyshaw.
Yeah.
Not at this stage in the game.
I'm later in the season when they call up Emmanuel Rodriguez, I'll be interested.
And then you got to remember, they're one of their best hitters, Ryan Jeffers, just broke his wrist, so he's gone for 2 months. So we're gonna have a lot of Carantini. You're into that. So I'm not worried with either one of these teams, to be honest with you, Gonzo. That's why I said we're
Yeah.
gonna sweep the Giants. And the only reason why Minnesota is gonna fucking compete is because Joe Ryan and Prelup.
And KG has a good question here. When was the last time the Sox were buyers at the trade deadline?
Damn. Remember, hey, Cesar Hernandez too. Don't just put Craig Kimbrell. It was Cesar Hernandez too.
Yeah, he was pretty hot for a little second there. Good question, KG. Even though I still think we're sellers this year, but
No, I don't want to hear that.
we could be buyers. You
I
never
was
know.
having fun on this show. Not anymore.
I think you could probably do a little bit of both. Would that surprise you?
No, that wouldn't surprise me.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
Mm-mm.
Here we go. Picks a click. OJ won
I
last.
don't want this shit.
OJ won last week. We are officially at Slavko has 3. OJ and I have 1. Jay, you're still looking to get on the board. So I need you to bounce back this week.
All right. First.
And OJ won with Vargas. So Vargas is off the board. OJ texted in, say he's taking the easy route this week to break the tie with me and him. And he's picking Murakami. Slavko is going to go Antonacci. Jay, you are up next.
You're gonna have to give me Beto Grande, aka the big dog, Colson Montgomery. I feel like he absolutely shits on the Giants on the West Coast, and Minnesota. I don't think they're gonna fare too well against him. So give me Colson Montgomery. Me, OJ, I'm taking the easy way out. Give me Colson Montgomery. Me.
I'm going to trump both of you. OJ alluded to it last week, and I'm going to bring it out this week. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time because I haven't gotten to take a pitcher
I knew it.
that had 2 starts. I'm going with my boy Davis Martin, Mr. AL Cy Young this year.
Starter for the All-Star game?
You damn right.
Mm.
You damn right. So as it is, gotta wait for this to upload. We've got OJ going Mooney, Slavko going the Italian Antonacci, Jay's going Colson. I'm going what Dougie Fresh would love to say, Davis Martin. Let's go. Let's get the 2 dubs on the board. Let's take both series. Those are our picks to click. Jay, go ahead, take it away as we wrap up the night here. You know what time it is.
Yeah, well,
Give them out.
Asia's going to be mad at me because I don't have a shout out for her this week, unfortunately, babe. I'm sorry. I love you. But I literally have to give this shout out to Pete Crow fucking Armstrong because you, Pete, have turned into one of the worst baseball players in the sport. And yeah, I mean, you've had 2 hits in the last 17 at bats. Absolutely a dumpster fire. And to put a bow on this, your fielding has eroded. Like you're making charismatic errors. You're careless with the glove. You're supposed to be a platinum glove winner. And you're in my stadium, guaranteed rate. You're at the rate telling another man's wife to suck your dick. Well, guess what, Pete Crow Armstrong? As of 2026, you suck dick. You're one of the worst outfielders in the sport. And some dumb fucking GM gave you $121 million fucking dollars. Some of the dumbest money ever spent in the sport. You won't have a 700 OPS this year. There is no 30-30 anymore. You still have options. You understand that? You could be in Iowa. You could be the richest man in Iowa. So, shout out to you, Pete Crow Armstrong. Because I didn't know what a bad baseball player looked like until I watched your ass for the last year and a half.
I think we should get a I don't want to say a GoFundMe, but us White Sox fans should really have that blonde talk to PCA and get him to do a wire transfer from his account to Caleb's account. I need to start the Caleb Williams extension right now. Let's just do that wire transfer. Send that $120+ million to Caleb because Caleb will probably make that in 2 years. But yeah, let's just start off early.
And you're counting it. Gonzo, you bogus counting my boy's pockets, okay? He's disgusting in the field and at the plate, but don't count his pockets, Gonzo. You're bogus. Ka-chow.
You got anything else?
No. I got that off my chest. It feels good.
Good. My shout outs. First, I'm gonna go with Soraya's grandma, Elaine. Giving her shout out to celebrate her life. She passed away last week. Soraya and I, we left to Fort Wayne on Monday, and we attended her funeral. It was a good chance to be with family, to celebrate the life of Elaine, and shout out to and give the prayers and positive to Soraya and her family. As you know, some of them everyone grieves differently, and they all need it. So please send your positivity their way. Also, I said Soraya, so obviously Soraya gets a shout out from me. Your boy is going to be moving into that new house next week, so her and I have a lot of projects to get going on, and we have a fence to put in. We have some furniture to put together, so the house projects are going to start next week, and my office is going to be put together here momentarily. So everybody, all my haters out there talking about this nice backboard of my bed and the curtain here, that will be gone in probably less than a month. But that new house is going to have a totally different background. Probably going to have to cost me several $100s to
Here he goes, checking the receipt.
put it all together of what I want it
so much.
of what I want it to look like. I'm excited to turn that room into what I want it to be. But honestly, Jay, this time I've been looking forward to I've been doing this for 6 years, and now I can finally put my vision into the direction I want this to go as far as my background. This is gonna be fun for me. So besides, family shout outs, I want to shout out everybody in the chat. Southside Jeff, I saw you out here in the chat. And this is a guy we got to get on here because I've seen him put together that podcast. So we might have to reach out to you, Jeff, and get some collaboration going. KG, I need you to relax. All right. You've been too hot lately. Your team needs to settle down in our dynasty. We don't want to see you in the postseason. So
I second that. As one of KG's victims, I second that.
KG, we'll have to talk to him another time on seeing him again on a live show coming his way in the future. We got Ralph in the chat. Thanks, Ralph, for jumping in with us. Those are going to be my shout outs for this week. Jay, any last thoughts to the show?
Well, this was actually refreshing. It's not too often we get to talk about White Sox success with Cubs slander. So it's been great tonight. I had fun chopping it up with you. I can't wait till the next time.
Yeah, and I just got a text from Elijah that we aren't going to end the month with Elijah next week. We will begin June though with 2 episodes with Elijah. One about the MLB roster, which should be a very good discussion
with the draft show,
with everything going on, and then a draft part of this will definitely come in that first episode. And then that follow-up episode we'll have with him, we'll get into the minors because there's a lot of guys, not only that we've talked about before, that we have to get updates on, but there are plenty new guys that haven't been talked about yet. And I think one of them, we mentioned Gabe Davis once, Jay, but Gabe has started his debut in pro ball hot. That could be a pen arm that you might see in the near future.
Peyton Paulette insurance or what?
I hope so. I hope he's better than Wilkieman Gonzalez. I'll just say that.
No chance.
I honestly, though, I think Gabe Davis might have little Grant Taylor light in him. So again, there's a lot of arms coming up the system that no one's talking about. And Jay, me, you, and Elijah are going to be diving into the weeds, talking about these guys that we usually do annually on our show, because we are usually the ones to start those conversations before everybody else dives into it as well. So, Jay, we've got 2 exciting episodes coming to you to begin the month of June coming up. We are almost a month away from the draft. Talk is heating up, and we are all here for it. Again, thank you for tuning in and watching the Blackout.